Okay, folks, good afternoon. I don't know if anybody's going to join us, but here we are doing our thing. Got some maintenance stuff to do before we get started, and it involves clearing off some space here. I am overrun. It's a tank overrun. So here's the vehicles that we sprayed this morning with black, which are always going to need some touching up. In order to get in all the nooks and crannies, you would basically be overspraying way too much. So, and I also went to the store today, and I have some news to report, or we'll figure it out together. So, this is the infamous olive drab 887 that we've been using on all of our vehicles. All these vehicles were used as a base, which is called brown violet. And I overheard, so this color is the base color of that. And I overheard that that it's been discontinued. I have another color that's called US olive drab 889, and it looks like it's greener, but when you look at the top, it's actually brown. So this is almost like a Vietnam era brown color. I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't know if I guess it could work for World War II. It's actually really close to one of these half tracks it's painted in, which doesn't really mean anything. It's just kind of coincidental. Which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, it's almost like this color right here. It's real similar to this one. So I was thinking of doing some vehicles in that color. But I went to the store to see if they had any left of this one. And they have another code. It's 887, and this one's called US Olive Drab, which is what I read is that the brown violet has been now called US Olive Drab. So we're going to do a little test here next to it and see what color we get with this, because I'm not opposed to painting a couple of vehicles in different colors using the same method because it varied a little bit. And we have another M4A3. This one I'm not taking the turret off because I do not want to drill into the rivets. That is a massive pain in the butt. So we do have that, and actually we're going to have to do something kind of drastic because I don't want it rolling all these wheels. But anyhow, let's test this color and put it next to it and see what we get. I really don't know what to expect other than it not be the same, which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. But let's see what we've got going on. I suspect it's going to be greener. And let's get this color right here. Man, it's pretty close. I don't think it's the same, but it's pretty close. I would much rather use this one with it than this other dark one. Okay. Let's let that dry while we do the maintenance that we need to do, which is to touch up these vehicles that we sprayed in black. And these are the guys that we're going to do next. I think it makes more sense just to stay on the US stuff than jump around. We're probably going to do we got to do a couple of German vehicles, but the German vehicles are going to take forever. I can tell you that already, unless their Panzer Gray. But I was really concerned how I was going to do this, but I really shouldn't second guess myself. I need to just jump in and start painting, because these turned out amazing as far as I'm concerned. I'm really, really happy with how they turned out. Especially that turret top. That turret top's amazing. Somebody, whoever designed this needs an award. Just really, really nice. Really nice turret top. And I actually resisted buying a model of a Sherman. They had an Airfix Sherman in '76 at the store. It called it an M4A2. I don't know if it really was or not, but if it was an M4A2, I do not need that. Okay, so we've got this one, and let's grab a brush that we're going to use with, all right, we need to put some brushes away. I am totally encroached here. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of what we're dealing with, look at that cluster. That's not like me. So let's make some room here. Let's make some room. Let's not get paint everywhere. Jeez. Dark sand, that's what we're going to mix in with whatever color we use here. That seemed to work pretty well. It was just somebody's suggestion. I don't remember what the guy's name is, but if you look at painting Shermans on YouTube, I've of course modified his method a tiny bit. Not much, but a tiny bit. I'm trying to think what I did different. Oh, I did foreshadow some things. So I did go in and paint some details around it so they'd pop. Man, I just can't breathe. I'm gonna be buying some more Agrax shade. Agrax Earth shade. Actually, I probably should buy about 4 or 5 of those. I don't think I need, maybe 4. 4 is a nice even number. Can't remember if 4 is a lucky number in Chinese or an evil number in Chinese, but hopefully it's evil, and I'll buy a lot of them. Keep the red guys off me. Don't go to his house. He's got 4s everywhere. I'll use another piece if we need to use epoxy, which if we need to use epoxy, it's not for a little while. All right. MG34s. There's another MG34. I don't want to lose them. I think I'm going to have to make a, how are we looking? This is color next to it. It's almost the same. It's almost the same. Almost the same, so we're definitely going to paint some vehicles using this new one. It's pretty close. Definitely paint the other M4A3 in that. Alright. One thing I find particularly annoying is when my area saver, which I call it this, ends up getting all like crinkled. So see if we can avoid that. All right, so this rolls on this, which means when it's time to glue it, I'm not going to be able to glue it all the way down. I'm not tearing this whole thing apart just for that. So let's see if we can't perform some surgery. may not be able to do this. No. Okay, well, it is what it is. Can't do that, can I? Yeah, I can. Like I said, I don't want to tear this thing apart. It's dangerous as hell. Even being careful, it's like inviting a terrorist to live with you. I was going to say handling firearms, but I think knives are actually more dangerous than fire. In my hands, knives are more dangerous than firearms. This will be good enough for government work. Okay. We're gonna do. All right, let's get our Viejo black primer, and I'm actually gonna use a pretty big brush for this because we'd like to be done today. Actually, I need to be careful because this thing ruins brushes. Let's use something shitty. Let's use something shitty. This will work okay. All right, let's get our little tray that we like to use for this. Because the nice thing about it is, it's real easy to peel this off. Can't get these containers anymore. This is way this is old as shit. I haven't bought lunch meat in this in probably over a decade. Had a really productive day today. Changed all the hardware on the doors in the house, all of them. Productive is good. This can go over in Gluelandia, and Elmer can go down here. All right. Let's start off with the truck. Let's see what we got left to do in here. couple jerry cans right there on the by the step, teasing the Germans, kind of like Eddie Murphy and I got some ice cream, I got some gasoline. I think pretty much got it coated everywhere else other than that. Yeah. All right. Drink. See how that olive drab's looking. It's almost the same, but it is different. It's got a little bit more green in it. That's cool. I don't really like how this is creating little bubbles. I think they'll disappear because this thing is like self-setting. Let's use another brush that's not, hasn't been raped. Maybe this one's a little better. Maybe. No, the tips of it is what's the issue. Where'd my X-Acto go? Put it away. This will work. You know, all these brushes have a lifespan, no matter what you do to them. Does it come off in the middle of it? Happened once, you're going to the garbage can. Don't be misbehave on me. Alright, we got some here to touch up. I had a friend of mine who did like a book review on Sherman tanks, and I was surprised that he actually said that they were his favorite tank, because I never heard anybody say that. I'd never heard them say that they're someone's favorite tanks. They're just, let's face it, they're not very sexy, but you can make them all individually look different. And we are going to glue little accoutrements on there to make them look different. Like this M4A3, we're going to put wood on the side of it, because this other one doesn't have any. Try to make them different from each other. Give them some personality. This is going to have some wood on it. Alright. I don't know if these guys will have it. And this said on the inside, it said that it was a wet stowage M4A1 76. The hull does look different than the standard M4A1 hull. The wet stowage was on the inside though. I didn't think you could tell the difference of it from the outside, but maybe you can. I haven't looked at the 76mm arm Shermans very much. So I'm pretty happy with how they've turned out. Like I said, I was looking for a combination between a gaming and something that's realistic. I don't want them to look like total game pieces, but they are game pieces. So I don't want them to look super realistic with paint chips, and that's a bit much. That's one of those things that's difficult. Even if you do it right, sometimes it doesn't look right. So there's a guy that did I think it was on his blog. I don't think it was a video. I think it was on his blog, but he did a Africa Corps Mark IV. I think it was a Mark IV special. And he had it all chipped up like extreme, as you would imagine, because it's evening. You like the Stuka eye view. You know, I forgot I had it on there. I guess we'll leave it on there. Making mistakes, hand over fist. Yeah, we'll leave it on there. Stuka eye view, yeah. So this guy had done this video of how he painted his Mark IV special for, I think it was for bolt action. And it looked really good, but it just, I mean, he spent a lot on it, but it looks like extra shoddy. It looked too shoddy looking. And, you know, I don't want something that looks like I did a crap job on it, you know. Although I'll be honest with you, if I'm going to do Africa Corps vehicles, I like the ones that they were sent over in gray, and then you just dry brush sand colors on top of it, so you could still see kind of the gray undertone. I don't like the 21st Panzer. I don't like them on overall, like pre-painted, like these guys. I don't like these at all. You know, it's like a, even though it's, I think it's 15 Panzer. I don't remember anymore, but we're not doing any North Africa vehicles. I got 5 of those L's, I think, right? They're not M's. Yeah. 2 or 3 of them will be in gray. They're probably all going to be in gray, and some of them I may actually do some snow. But that's a ways away. That's a ways away. I need to get comfortable with doing some normal stuff first. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to handle it. I've pleasantly surprised how it turned out for myself. Yeah, I forgot I had the Stuka eye view on there. Oh well. Good, I'm glad you like it. I'm bringing you what you want. You didn't even know you wanted it. It's all good, man. I think that's probably good enough. And I'm glad I was able to get away with doing the wet dry brushing painting this. I don't have to paint it like... I'm not known for taking shortcuts, so I'm thankful that I was able to find any shortcuts at all. That I don't hate myself over it. try this. Let's get this really wet. See if we can't get underneath there. That's definitely going to be a dark spot. I'm okay with this. All right. Next one. I resisted buying that Airfix. It just wasn't a good price. It was like $8 or something like that for one. And the reason I'm doing American is I've got plenty of infantry. It's American infantry. Like if I do Brits, I've got lots of British infantry, but I only got 4 guys that have been painted. And they're awesome looking, but it's only 4 guys. I really wish I could do Italy. The problem is the German units in Italy are just they just kind of suck. I'm not a big fan of them. They got 4 Panzer divisions that don't have a big history. They got Fallschirmjägers, which I'm not a fan of. But we'll see. We're not going down the rabbit hole of painting infantry right now. I got plenty of them to game with, so. As long as it's Germans and Americans. I built them for a scenario. It's really unlike me to have Americans and Germans. It's not really my kind of matchup, but I did a scenario for a convention, and that's what the scenario will happen to be out of one of the skirmish campaign books. And it wasn't a hit because I didn't put 2 and 2 together that, you know, we're going to be stuck in a 4-hour session, and you just waste a lot of time explaining rules to people. So whenever I do it again, I'm definitely going to put everybody on one team. We got a lot of green showing back here, but not too terribly worried about it. We're going to cover most of this anyways, and then we'll see what it looks like. I'm actually, I probably should test the waters by only doing 1 Sherman in this new green color. Although it's not different enough that I see much of a problem with that. You do any World War II gaming there, Ben? Is it a period that you're into? I haven't done it in 20 years, but I'm a World War II guy. I'm a die-hard World War II guy. The problem is I just, you know, I couldn't play something like bolt action or something like that. I am a rivet counter. Like it's a Sherman. Well, which one? It's all the time I did as a 1/35th scale modeler. So you missed it earlier. So all of the green that I used before was this color called brown violet, which is apparently been discontinued. So the three vehicles used brown violet. The new, and it's the same number, it's 887. So the new 887 is called US Olive Drab, and it's almost the same. And here, this other dark color, this is one that's called US Olive Drab. It's almost like a Vietnam color. So you see these two. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but we're gonna use them both. So we're gonna do the same tank, this M4A3, using this greener color, and just see how they look next to each other. You know. Now you ask, I did just find a bag of 15mm Bersaglieri primed, but never painted, so I think I might get into the period properly now. That's the elite troops for the Italians. I think one of the problems the Italians had is that they really had no reason to fight the Second World War. You know, the Germans I can see because it's kind of like they got screwed out of the first one. Among other racist reasons that I wasn't aware of as a kid. But as a kid, that's kind of how I justify it. But the Italians were on the winning side, technically. But I think some of the Italian stuff looks pretty cool. I mean, and that little light tank they had, what was it, the P6? It's a cute little thing. I don't know if it was very effective. I don't think the AB-41s were a bad armored car. Can actually play the Italians in Armored Commander. I always liked the Italian Navy. When I did naval games, I love the Mediterranean. That's where it's at right there. I love the Mediterranean theater. Both sides have convoys. Both sides have capital ships and land-based aircraft. You know, the Axis don't have any carrier-based aircraft, but, you know, they've got, you know, their carrier is called Sicily. You know, you can't sink it. You have to invade it and take it over. Always liked the Mediterranean. Had some good battles there, too. Joe Coton, Stuka more like drones lining up their targets. Drones take the fun out of warfare. Speaking of drones, man, the drone footage over Fort Myers Beach was just insane. That's a place we used to go for 4th of July. We went 5 years in a row. And it is just, if they would have had a war, it'd be in better shape. That was just devastating. No. I gotta remember stuff like that so I don't get some smart ass idea to retire to a beach. I love the beach, but man, those people aren't coming back from that. That's rough. And they always like, oh, they show up here. Who gives a shit about a pier? Nobody lives at the pier. That's not anybody's business. That's irrelevant. Did you have a crazy day at work yesterday and Thursday? I don't think you did. I don't think you had too bad of a day fixing stuff. I would have gone to Mitch's on Friday if he was off on Friday. But nope. I'm always off when he's not off. You know what? This kind of has a... Nah, it's okay. Just didn't cover real well. At Huracan, did you guys meet a chap named Scott Van Rokel? I did not. He has a podcast called Shot and Shield about Colonial War gaming and mentioned he was at Huracan. I did not. Nope. No, I would have loved to meet another podcast or a YouTube person. I feel like I'm all by my lonesome. Trying to figure things out as I go. And I'm not a technology... Well, the way I look at it, it's not that I'm anti-technology, just some stuff like this that we're doing, this should be easy to set up. If it takes like a pain in the ass and it disconnects and, you know, it shouldn't be that way. I'm not computer illiterate. They should just make programs a lot easier to use. But no, he did not introduce me. I don't know that he was there, but I guess if he said he was there. Things started off the bat like badly, but it ended up not being a big deal. They didn't have our table set up, so we had like a 40-minute late start, which we still finished on time, so it wasn't a big deal. But I didn't catch that one of the people that entered the step right up ended up playing with an army that wasn't a step army. Whatever, it was a new player, they won, they felt good, they came back and played 2 other events, you know. He also did a Huracan walk-around video. I'll have to follow him. He probably did a better job than I did. I just thought about it too late. He didn't do a Historicon one, though, so, joke's on him. I got too many responsibilities at the show, you know? I got too many responsibilities. I still can't believe that my award is gone for the one event. That's crazy. I thought maybe I forgot to make it, but no, it was there. I even took a photograph of it and everything. Well, I don't want to wish harm on somebody, but maybe that's somebody who took it, whose house got destroyed over the weekend. That would be karma, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't care. It sucks for the person that won the event. You know, they're gonna have to wait like a whole year to get this thing. Because I ain't mailing it. I don't. Part of my deal is I didn't volunteer to go to the post office. That's no. But yeah, maybe his house got destroyed by the hurricane. That'd be karma, wouldn't it? You know, if people are going to take an award that basically has zero value, because that's all it is you go to the drugstore and you print it out, and just a little memento for people that were there to kind of, you know, have fond memories. If you're willing to do that, man, they're gonna take somebody's armies. That's definitely worth something. So, What surprises me about the walk around video is some people are just like, and it happened at Historicon too. Some people would like freeze and like they don't, especially like the Little Wars guys. They didn't like, they really, other than the one guy I talked to, who by the way seemed like a really cool guy, which is neat because he doesn't seem that way on video. But the other guys, they didn't want to be filmed. And it's like, I'm not going to film people and like portray them in a bad light. Like, you know, edit the video. I couldn't live with myself do shit like that. There's actually a group of guys. There's actually a group, I don't know if they still do this, but there's a group of guys that play in the middle of the United States, or used to play in the middle of the United States, DVA. And they'd always take pictures of their games. And one of the guy that took the pictures, this is some dishonorable shit right here. I can't believe they get away with this. Goes and like writes stuff on their shirt like I'm with stupid, and you know, and like modifies the picture that they take of them. And so the guys resorted to having to wear plaid shirts. Well, I don't want to wear plaid. I'm not a plaid fan, so, but that's just dishonorable to be doing shit like that, and you know, take pictures that specifically make people look bad. I mean, I don't do shit like that. So I'm not going to start making super good videos like Little Wars. I'm not encroaching on their stuff. You know, they have somebody that enjoys making videos way too much. Unlike me, I don't enjoy making them that much. Maybe it's somebody that doesn't paint. I need my time painting. I know what it takes to go into making something of that quality. That's a lot of time. But oh well. Their videos are heavily edited, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of, you know, you get what you see. You know, it takes a lot of extra effort on my part to modify things, to have something that's error-free, or maybe that looks damn near perfect. And it's just a fantasy. It's being portrayed. It's better, I think, I appreciate things that are not edited. You know, like a reality show. Reality show isn't a reality show. I don't like crap's edited, and I'm not a fan of that. You seize what you get. Something crazy happens, well, it's because it happened. If we drop the F-bomb, it's because it happened, you know? We're all adults here. Spray paint actually did kind of a piss poor job of getting everywhere. But we'll fix that. Like, I don't get particularly miffed that people leave and go play another set of rules. Like at Historicon, everybody was playing Art de la Guerre. Have fun. In 5 years, let's see if they're playing Art de la Guerre. Most people are nomadic. I mean, I can guarantee that if I was playing Art de la Guerre and I really liked it, that's what I'd play. I'm not a fair weather gamer. Plenty of people are. Mr. Nordic, welcome. How goes it? I would have joined earlier, but setting up the map for Red Parachutes, Soviet airborne assault over the Dnieper, 1943. What time in 1943 in that? That's post-Kursk, isn't it? There's some guys that people forget about. Soviet airborne troops. One of the books that I was reading, which was called, I think it was called Blood Red Snow, and it was a memoirs of a German machine gunner on the Eastern Front, and I believe his story starts on the way to Stalingrad. I got to be careful because there's a lot of, I think there's three things that are really convoluted or that are the same. Remember this, there's the Stalingrad movie that's German. That starts, basically, they're on the way to Stalingrad. It doesn't show them, if I remember correctly, it doesn't show them in Barbarossa or anything. The other movie is that that miniseries that's called Generation War, and that's the same thing. The characters they don't everything's hunky dory, and then they get sent over to the Sixth Army, I think, or that time period. I don't know if they don't get stuck in Stalingrad, but it's that same time period. And then this Machine Gunner's Memoirs is the same thing as well. Maybe the German movie Stalingrad was maybe inspired by his memoirs or something like that. But he goes into a lot of detail with the defending the bridgeheads post Kursk. And that's kind of a period that gets kind of, I think, forgotten. Basically, that time period in 1943 that's just all freaking mud, you know. The Raputitsa or whatever, but the 43 Raputitsa. And a lot of, that's one of those things that I'll probably go through again and get ideas for scenarios, but there was a flamethrower Mark III that was going around, taking care of pockets of stuff. But August 43, December 43. Battle Airborne Assaults were late September, which is where the game picks up. Okay, that's an interesting period. That's a period where I think the German stuff's really outnumbered, but man, their equipment is significantly better than the Soviets. Because the T-34-85s don't show up until, I gotta look that up one time. I want to say it's early 44, and that's the ones with the different guns. And 43, they don't have any. So all their main battle tanks are T-34-76s, which are fine for Mark IIIs and 4s, but they just can't even touch Panthers to the front. They can't touch Panthers or Tigers unless you got some extremely short ranges. So it's kind of like the opposite of Barbarossa, where they couldn't touch the T-34s with a short 50 to the front. But just overwhelming numbers of Soviet tanks. So red parachutes. I thought you didn't like the Soviets. I saw the game back in the early part of the pandemic. Thought it looked intriguing since it only cost $18 brand new. I said, "What the hell?" It's the first Hex Encounter game I bought. Who makes it? All right, now, I normally would cut these little nibs off. But if it's too tight, I will. That's pretty freaking tight. I don't want it to scratch the finish every time I bring them around. Avalanche press, okay. It's too tight. Way too tight. We're gonna scuff up that. Let's cut the nibs off. I don't know if they're called nibs. They're called nibs now. Where's the L clippers? Avalanche Press. I got one of their games. One of the games I have left over, board games, is by Avalanche Press. It's this First World War at Sea. I actually had several of the Second World War as well, but I sold them. I was just never going to get around to playing them. Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. I don't have to worry about them falling off. I don't have to worry about them scuffing this turret and stuff every time I turn it. And then you see some stuff unpainted. Okay, perfect. All right. We did this one first on purpose, so we can paint it first. All right, let's move these wet stowage 76s. And we're going to do this Sherman with the new olive drab paint. And that way we can compare. Because this is my favorite one. I mean, other than the fact that I can't put an antenna on it, because it's just, I can't drill into that stuff. It's like brutal. Other than that, man, the top of the turret is freaking amazing. I'm really impressed. I know I've said that a ton of times, but I'm really impressed with whoever cast these things. And it just doesn't do it justice. I don't know why it comes out like it's got a little sheen, but it's not. It's flat. Apparently the game sells 60 on the website. I feel like you're paying $20 for it. Okay, red parachutes. You ever played old school tactical? I wonder what that's like. Other than another squad leader ripoff. You guys want to keep the overhead view? You guys like that? Think about that while I go grab a soda refill. Be right back. All those details are calling out to me for a pin wash. It's built in, man. Oldest game I played was Tobruk from Avalon Hill from the 60s or 70s. I don't remember if I played Tobruk. I played Tactics too. That's an old game. And whoop somebody's ass with them too. It's like an easy game. Like, this is just, I do this shit all the time. You know, you hit them and you hit them with everybody. And you hit them with everybody at once. And there's just no recovering from that. Yeah, this doesn't need a pin wash. I don't know that it would get any better. And I think the reason why is because when I applied the green, this guy that I was following step by step, he's like, yeah, paint everything. And I'm like, why should I paint everything overall when I can just kind of do like a dry brush of the core color and I leave the pin wash in there? Because, you know, I'm trying to save some time because otherwise, you know, I'm world's slowest painter. Okay, let's do, oh shit, I forgot I gotta do maintenance stuff that I've forgotten about. We got to epoxificate these guys down. That helps a lot, gluing these guys with not having to grab it and scuff up your work. I believe this one's in the center. Yep. All right. The only thing about this is I wish the cork was bigger because they're a little top heavy, but man, for something I just pulled out of you know where, I think it worked pretty well. Okay, so we're gonna need several of these. And I prefer to use epoxy than this one. I gotta be careful because I could see stepping the living shit out of this. This one ain't gonna give. You're playing after the core, and my opponent made one wrong move and opened a gap in the defenses, which hit with my panzers and wound up taking Tobruk really fast. The Tobruk I'm thinking of is the one that's like tactical, like you have vehicles and stuff like that. Maybe that one's called something different. I think I have played it once. It's not very good. It's not a very good looking game. Very, very drab looking. The one I'm thinking of. Okay. Let's Michaels, Joann's, etc. will sell wooden objects that are decent size and work nice for handles. Yeah, I was actually looking to see if they had any more wooden discs. Because I'm going to use wooden discs for the character chips. I don't want to use poker chips. It's really loud when you mix those things up. So one of the vendors always has MDF stuff, MDF round stands, and they didn't make it to the show. The one time I would have bought that stuff from them. But I wouldn't have used them for stands. I would have used them for, you know, the chips for the order things. But I'm not in a huge hurry to play this. I'm in a hurry to paint this stuff, you know. But I'm not in a huge hurry to play it. Okay, so how many do we have? We need 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 4. Okay, I got 2 here. Panzer I's still on one of them. I have a shitload of corks. And I mean a shitload. Like a shitload. So I need 2 more corks, 2 more screws. Got plenty of both. Yeah, I could spend a long time in a craft store. So anyways, you missed it, but you really didn't miss anything. So the word on the street is this is discontinued. The olive drab, the brown violet is discontinued, which is 887. The new 887 is US olive drab, and it's slightly different. Very, very slightly. Here is the 887 that all these vehicles are painted in here. And here's the new 887. So I'm going to do this M4A3 and the new M87. Same style, everything done the same, just have a little bit of a different look to it. Okay, one there. That is a lot of corks. They had some for work. They had them at work, and somebody's like, hey, can you use these? I said, you better believe I can use them. And at the time, I was just putting like flags and stuff on them. Cork is a really cool material. That's the one thing that's really cheap in the UK. Things are made of cork, or so I've heard. But things of wood are really expensive compared to the US, you know. But I think I read one time that cork all comes from Portugal. And since Britain and Portugal have been asshole buddies for since the 1300s. Well, there you go. But cork is a really cool material. All right. Actually, let me get my file out. I did pick up some stuff while I was at the store. I picked up some sanding films. I also picked up these. These tension ones. So I can grab something won't fly across the freaking floor. So, anyhow. Hate that Viejo did that. We're having a problem with flat red. Completely different formula now. Well, yeah. Fortunately, I mix all my colors, so it's not as big a deal for me as most people, but I could see it being a major pain in the ass. But it's not that big a deal for me. Let's just use, oh, here it is. That's exactly the one I was looking for. Cool, look at that. Would work great for holding a 6mm micro armor. Yeah, it would. I wonder why they call it. Is 6mm exactly 285th? Why did they pick 285th? That's just stupid. That's a stupid size. I mean, they already had one 300. Just make one 275 or something. Why 285? Inviting chaos to your house, doing shit like that. Okay, so we definitely want to use for the truck, we want to use super glue because it's brittle and we can snap that thing. And we might want to use super glue for these other ones that are plastic. Although now I wish they weren't weighted down because now you need a harder bond for that. Okay, so this one's in the center. We're definitely going to use epoxy. So let's put an epoxy one on there. This one, I bet the center of gravity is close to the center of gravity is about there, isn't it? Yep. All right, cool. She's good. Now these other guys, hopefully it's not right on this spot. Oh, good. It's just on the other side of that thing. All right. And then this one also, we can do the same thing. Should be here. All right. This one has been used before, so I'm going to put it on this one that doesn't need as much strength because it's super light. I'm actually excited about doing the truck. Be like that truck that's in, what was that movie that I saw? The third Band of Brothers, not Band of Brothers, the third Saints and Soldiers, Into the Void, which I ain't care. Not sure, to be honest. Have to use that one. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that. It was the first Warlord move. We're going to make a new scale. Oh, 1/3000 ships aren't good enough. We're going to make 1/2400. Well, CNC was already making 1/2400, so it wasn't a conspiracy by one company. Good Lord. I actually wanted some of the rubber tip tweezers. If they didn't have any, I could just Amazon them, but okay. And then this was right behind us, so it's right here. Found Buffy the Vampire Slayer the show on a free streaming service last night and started watching a couple episodes. It's immediately reminded why teenage me had a huge crush on. Yeah, she's pretty cute. I remember seeing the original movie in the movie theaters, and I'm like, who played her? Christy Swanson, I think? Something like that. Man, it was lame. Yeah, she's pretty cute. I don't think she's been involved in any controversies either. That's kind of unusual for Hollyweird people. Wasn't she in one of the Scream movies too? She gets killed right off the bat. Or am I thinking of Drew Barrymore? The first one. I remember I was on a date and my date screamed in my ear. Welcome to 1997. I think I've gotten just about everything I can out of this one. El Corco. Lame show's a lot better. She seems to be on the down low, which is nice and refreshing for Hollywood. She was often the first one. Okay. Yeah, I don't really follow actors and stuff like that. They live in another world that I don't live in, nor do I want to live in it. You know. You could be like it's kind of like politicians. You could like be somebody who maybe wants to make a difference, and it's just like, oh, you gotta whore yourself out for anything. That's not a big fan of stuff like that. You need to be true to yourself. And I am not a groupie. I'm not a groupie personality type. I'm not like dying to meet famous people. I don't know that I really want to meet anybody that's famous. I don't know that I'd have anything to say to them. I'd like to play. I'd like to game with Lindy Beige. I think that would be a freaking hoot. I think he would be fun to game with. Although I may have to have, 4 gallons of coffee just to keep up with him. He's definitely caffeinated or on something. I think he would be a hoot to play games with. Back in the late 90s, a teen actor, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yep. Late 90s. I was in my late 20s. Okay. I can't think of anybody famous I would be dying to meet. If I had a brain, I'd plan a little bit. When I make this epoxy, I can use it for multiple things. All right, let's put some baggage on the back of that M4A3. Now, this M4A3, this other one does not have logs on it. Okay, so we're going to put logs on this one. Euro style games, screw that. I'm a pacifist every day. I want to conquer and, violate other civilizations. Henry Cavill. I like him as an actor. I think he's an excellent actor. Yeah, he's a Warhammer guy. Turn him on to his historicals. We got to figure out what's going to be on the back of this. Whatchamacallit was a big Warhammer guy. Robin Williams. What? Shermans, you need ones with 75mm cannons. They're better at digging out dug-in Germans. You mean like this one, and this one. I got 3 with 75mm cannons. Man, that looks super dark. And this one's got a 75mm cannon. Just 2 with 76s. Yep. I don't know that they're better at digging out Germans. They're just, they're more prevalent. Okay. Right. So we're going to put some logs on this one, and we want to put them on the opposite side that the other one has for variety. So here we go to our value gear. Yep, you win. I do. I know what I'm talking about. I'm a World War II nut. I actually have too many 76mm gun ones. I got these 2 and I got 1 more. But I also have this guy waiting in the wings. The problem is I don't have a mantlet for it. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to buy another armor cast tank. They're pretty shitty. They're really lacking on detail. Even with adding this stuff on it, I just feel like it has less detail than anything else. I mean, the top of this turret is insane. I freaking love the top of this turret. And this is a toy. This is a Corgi model. Probably bought it at Toys R Us. We need a mantlet for this guy, so we're going to wait until we get one of those Plastic Soldier Company ones, and I'll make one of those tanks a 76, and I'll have an extra 75mm turret. What rules? The question everybody always wants to ask. The face of battle, which are not available anymore. I don't let that stop me. That's somebody else's problem. It didn't bother me any. Those rules aren't available anymore. Yep, and I'm not the author. If I was, I don't understand why they're not available. Okay, this is 3 logs. The other one has, we're going to put a 2 logger here. The face of battle. Accept no compromises. I am not a Flames of War slash... Flames of War you can only play in 1 scale. I am not a... I just got a headache out of nowhere. What the hell? Oh, we're going to kill that. Let's watch Tony take drugs. I am not a bolt action person by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm not a final combat person either. That's ridiculous. I tried to read those rules and you can't read them. I can't read them. Oh crap, I don't have any water? Really? Crap. Right back. So you would never use all these vehicles at one time in a battle, in the rules. This is just for variety. Be back in a few minutes, all right. Great, I don't remember which one I squeezed out. You guys remember if I did the green or the blue? I think it's the blue. Man, I am a terrible multitasker. Have a company, a 3rd Armored Division spearhead for Flames of War painted for Cobra. The terrorist organization, Cobra? I'm doing the Americans first because they're not exciting. I'm doing it on purpose. Because you can make these tanks look really interesting. Not jumping in the... Thank you. I'm not jumping into the Panzermania. That's too easy to do. I got plenty of them. Don't worry. But the absolute worst thing, in my opinion, about the American tank units is the armored division symbols suck. They're just like super like boring. Even the Russian ones are better because you could have, you know, stick your head in doo-doo, whatever written on your tank or whatever, you know, you fascist pig dog, you know, what you could have all kinds of stuff written on there. You know, and you could, their unit numbers kind of suck too, but you can at least do some things on there. But the American stuff is just like, this is just boring as crap. Here we go. We're going to tie these things up right here. 2 sticks. All right. And then we're going to have, I'm not worried about those other guys just yet. I got to find photo evidence of 76 millimeter barreled M4A1s with logs on them. I don't think I've seen any. That doesn't mean they couldn't have them, just, you know. All right, the bits. The bits are down here. Nope, thought they were. Here they are. Also from Value, who are these guys called? Value something or another. They're on eBay. So I don't know how people can have the area like this. Only I'm working on multiple stuff. Value something or another. I don't remember what they are right now. All right. I got live epoxy here. Let's put that far away. All right. Should just give up on trying to use this. Wow, that's huge. Now the bad thing of it is, this is on an area that's kind of, that would rock if I put something on there. So that's why I ended up putting this one piece, I put it in a place where it could sit in between the hinges on a flat spot. So I may be doing the same thing as well. I did one of these on there. You got jerry cans and bed rolls, and I'm going to try to keep using bed rolls because stuff like this is going to go on the side of a half track. Okay, so this is how you gypsy caravan these guys up. You take a half track like this. Again, this is another toy. Okay, and we're going to glue them like this to the side. So you can have all kinds of cool shit like this on them. And makes every one of them different. Pretty neat. Pretty neat stuff. See, I'm doing the Americans first, not because I'm a American phobe, whatever it's called. It's just that they're, it's real easy to get excited about all the weird vehicles. And instead of these generic looking, what is this, a pile of crap, isn't it? Instead of these generic things that, if you add all kinds of different things to them, you can make them look pretty interesting, I think. And you get all these, this is all in one pack, and they actually have 2 packs of these, and these are for Allies, so they've got like German stuff too, that's supposedly German stuff. That one may not be bad. I'm gonna leave these bed rolls and stuff for the, that can double. Look at these sheets, and think I'm going to put that on there. How's that one crick-crocked? It's high over here? Okay. So we'll probably do the opposite. We'll probably set it like this. And can the turret go all the way around? Because with the turret being fixed, that's an added problem. Yes. Okay. I do not want to tear this thing apart because it is a nightmare to tear up. Okay. That's going to fit here. That's going to be there. Okay, I think we're good with that because we have to epoxy those things anyways. All right, we use the blue one here. Let's see what it says. Remember how it turned out the Taliban had an FT-17? Really? Turns out someone spotted a working L-335 tankette over there recently. What the hell, man? Anything to get away from riding a camel, huh? Oh, how'd this happen? Hey, now your comment's gone. That's weird. Well, I saw it. All right. I've never had epoxy sit out like that, so hopefully it's still alive. FT-17, I've got one. Cute little thing. If you look at a vehicle and you're like, you know what, I'd rather be on foot. He deleted to correct the spelling. I know you know how to spell. I'm a spelling Nazi. The only good kind of Nazi, right? A spelling Nazi. Every other kind of Nazi is bad. It's funny that it's called spelling Nazi, grammar Nazi, when they're really inefficient at shit. Okay. Good thing, right? Good thing they were really inefficient. Well, I don't really mind them killing more Soviets, but Soviets are fun to play, though. Man, they're fun to play. I like playing Soviets. And the interesting thing that happened at Huracan is somebody actually offered me straight vodka. And I took them up on it. And I sipped on that for a couple hours, and I actually enjoyed it. And I didn't even feel anything. Of course, you know, it's like, you know, you're dealing with, you know, fuel. You know, you're freaking careful. But that was pretty good. That's made me want to play Russians. Where the hell did I put my glasses? Jesus. Where's my chaperone? I got all these cool things and then I put them away. What a dipshit. That should stay okay as long as I don't mess with it too much. And we got to leave some of this for the thing underneath. That was the whole purpose in doing this. Let's test something. Let's see if this will work. There's the whole reason I got this was for situations like this. It's this one. It's the one that has tension on it. The tweezer with tension. Should be able. I've never owned one of these. I should just be able to grab it, and it stays grabbed. Yes. All right, and now we can apply epoxy to the bottom of it. Ever so slightly. And I want it at an angle. Guess I'm gonna need it more at an angle. Man, I feel like I want to put something else back there too. Jerry can't. Oh, nah. We'll save that for something else. That's the problem, is it's sitting on some nice tools. Whoever did this did a really nice job with the sculpting. I actually don't know how you sculpt the die cast thing, but they did a nice job with it. How's that saying goes? That guy deserves an award named after him. And I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. Looks like it's made of wood. I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. I don't know. It definitely has some wood characteristics to it. All right. Let's move this out of the way. And did I wait too long? All that and I still waited too long? That was stupid of me. Oh well. I guess I got to make mistakes like this or I'll never go through all this epoxy that I've had for like 15 years. And I've still only used a third of it. Oh well. Best laid plans. All right, well, if that's how we're going to be, then we're going to wait. I'm putting this thing up on a pedestal. And these should be dry because it is super glue. Aha. Haha. And now we can put stuff on the back of them. I haven't given any of them nicknames. I can always come back and do that. Hand paint them on there when I figure out what the nickname's going to be. I just didn't want to cogitate with that. I don't know. These turrets look way too comfortable. They've got like hatches for both people. If something goes sideways, there's another way they can bail out. That's too helpful. And I don't mind buying more of this stuff. I'm really enjoying. I haven't even gotten to tank destroyers yet. I don't own any. I didn't have any. Okay, here's one with a jerry can. I don't care that it could fall off, and I'm not going to tie it down, do tie downs. No. Goes over just fine. I think those would fit on there nicely. Okay, and this other one, something that's not massive. No, these are for half tracks. Yeah, this would be massive. I have a feeling I'm going to be ordering some of these soon, just for variety. I like this. This, because this, does this fit for the half track, or it's too like neatly folded? Blankets. Don't have to save any of these for the Russian vehicles. They don't get blankets. You want blanket? We send it to you in Gulag. Yeah, I think I like that. Not worry about the truck. They actually make loads for the truck. I think that's what we're going to go with. All right, now let's clean these things up. I can't wait to finish these guys and then start working on Dunkelgelb and kick that Dunkelgelb's ass. Because that is a difficult color to get right. But I am pretty confident that I'm going to be happy with with what I do with it. I'm pretty confident that I got the skill set to make myself happy with it. So that one goes on that one, that one goes on that one, and we have to put epoxy this bastard down, which the center point should be there. Easy enough to find. Okay. All right, here we go again. That enough? Maybe a little bit more. Buns War is an okay game. Problem is almost always revolves on tank spam, and infantry is often ignored. Yep. Yep. And the tanks are all like in a line, like Napoleonics. It's not for me. I mean, if I was really into ancients and medievals, I probably wouldn't like DBA. Way too freaking generic. I'll admit it. But grab by the gas can. This gas can actually says G and it says US on it. I don't know if you can see that, but probably not. We turned it the other way. This needs to set anyways a little bit. Yeah, I actually like the way it looks like. Put the gas can near the filler upper. The gas cap. So yeah, the face of battle is like the polar opposite of DBA. It's the polar opposite. But it delivers a narrative that you don't have to make up. You don't have to make up stuff like, oh, you rolled a 6-1. Well, this probably happened. Oh, no, you know exactly what happened. You don't have to make any of it up. It happened right before your very eyes. Okay. And then this was the blankets. Okay. Now, let's not freaking forget, dumbass. It's Dumas. We're going to do some heavy goopage here, which I did last time. It's Dumas. And this goes right in the spot. Da, 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 da. Stay on there. Da, da. I don't need it so much for keeping the tank standing up. I need to keep it from so I have something to grab that's not the tank itself. So it doesn't have to be in the center of gravity, but it's a lot easier to deal with if it is. And it's funny because tanks and stands have command radius that spread out, but most bunch stuff together. Artillery cars stay at least. Watching makes these bits on a Sherman making me want to start working on a model because I have in a house. Aren't they cool? I mean, Shermans are like, oh, they're just generic looking tanks, and they are. But you wait to spice them up and make them each give them a different personality. You know, I might have to do the same thing with the T-34s, man. I got more T-34s than freaking Tankograd. Oh, really? You got to be that kind of a penis wrinkle. All right. could have just put it on there, not put the cork on later, but don't you fall over. It's real easy to make the German tanks look interesting. It's harder to make the Shermans look interesting. And T-34s too. I got some ideas on the T-34s. We'll get there. The problem with the T-34s is you can't really put commanders sticking out. You put a commander sticking out of a T-34-76 and nobody's manning the gun. And you know, same thing with the half tracks. I got 3 half tracks. That's 36 freaking guys that pour out of here. You can't play those. You can't play that in a skirmish game. You know. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I may just end up paying these just for yucks. I may end up soloing all this stuff, which honestly sounds pretty good, because it can take as freaking long as I want it to. You know. Soloing this is a hell of a lot more fun than soloing something like DBA, because I'm interested in the story that develops. You know, they fire a 75mm round. Okay, where does it land? Oh shit, it doesn't land where they want it to. It lands somewhere else, and you know. But the only thing you can't simulate is, you know, building collapse and stuff, like a building that can, you know, you can't drive through buildings and show wrecks in the buildings. That's the only thing, but. I'll be right back. I'll take a little bathroom break. I'll be right back in a moment. Anyone willing to play that game with you? Yeah, probably Mitch, but I'm not going to leave it at his house. He's placed so many things on his table that, you know, I don't want to leave it over there. So, maybe. You know, I have a back room that's really cool in the wintertime. Be right back, folks. Okay, I'm going to take a little break, get some food in me, and I'll be right back. We're going to set this on intermission. Actually, we'll put it on be right back. And see you guys in about 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, we're back. Eating fast comes in really handy. All right. I don't know if I got any wet paint here. Let's get that the hell out of the way. Let's flip this thing over, see how off center it is. Not too bad. Of course, I'm gonna have to paint this black again, because I added bits to it. Oh well. We're gonna start with this one, so let's paint this one black first. And do we have any left? No. We don't have any primer. I could just use regular black paint for this, but... What food did I bring you? just I had leftovers from Tex-Mex leftovers. Not a fan of Mexican food, but you add Tex to it and I like it. Where are these? Think about making some. Have somebody make it for you. Have your roomies make it for you. Ramen noodles and or the folks that burn water. You actually can burn water. All right. Part of me says I shouldn't have even fooled with the serial numbers, the registration numbers actually on the Shermans, but they're just so damn prominent on most of the tanks that I felt like it was my duty to put them on there. I think having those on the tank and the armor division symbols being as lame as they are really the two kind of the crummiest things about American vehicles. As you do have a lot of leeway as far as like equipment and stuff that's being carried on them, but they don't have any cool armor division signs. Actually, the armor division patch, that tricolored thing, I think it's that triangle that's tricolored, it's just god-awful looking in my opinion. Not a fan. But hey, they didn't ask me to make something look cool. Light is blocking the camera. Okay, there we go. I'll have to contact my producer. Guy's a major slacker. Major slacker. Sorry it's taken so long to get to the main color phase, but I want to get there too. That's my favorite part. I'm going to go ahead and paint all this so it's an even darkness level. Okay, he's done. It's the first one done, so should be the first one to dry. All right, back here. And no, I didn't wash these parts. I don't know that I've ever washed any parts. And it's mainly because then they gotta be fully dry and shit like that. I'm just, hey, I gotta cut corners somewhere. That's where I decided to cut them. We're gonna have a house full of teenage girls today, so hopefully they're not too out of control. They generally are not. If you hear some snickering or laughing or something like that, that's what it is. It's a bunch of 17-year-old. So don't get excited. They're only 17 years old. Let's see. I think I'm buying a model kit for my birthday. Takom. Make a dual kit that has 2 Panzer I. Who's Takom, and are they Chinese? If so, don't buy them. In the box with markings for Africa Corps and Poland. I enjoyed building that Panzer I. I thought it was a cute little thing. Speaking of Poland, I wouldn't do Poland, not because of the Poles. The Poles are cool, but you know, the German vehicles having a white cross is just stupid. I'm actually okay with the Spanish Civil War markings, but not the white cross. It just looks dumb. It's like, so you guys are the Swiss? No. Oh, okay. Then who the hell are you? It just doesn't look right. But speaking of Poles, all those Russian tanks I have, there's no way in hell I'd make any of them Poles. I'm disgusted by the idea that could be a Polish liberation army. Yeah, that's why the Russians stopped their attack on Warsaw when the uprising came. They really had the best thoughts of the Poles in mind. A bunch of double dealing bastards. So, no Polish T-34s, no Czechoslovakian T-34s. It's a nice 1/16 Panzer kit. I'm intrigued by. You're intrigued by everything. You just have to go watch some unboxings, and that'll get it out of your system. Then you'll be like, oh, that's what it looks like inside. All right, I don't have to buy it. You can get spread too thin. You can't be into everything. Jesus. Go play with your red parachutes. I'm going to use your saying. It's a great freaking saying. It's true. It's a great saying. Can't recall any company making a Polish tank for World War II. Well, depending on what scale you want to do, there is I had, back when I did 1/35th scale, I had a Polish company that made a Polish tank. I don't have pictures of it or anything, so I guess it never really happened. It was a 7 TP, right? 7 TP, their big one with a 37, their biggest one, with rivets and shit like that. And I did it in the tricolor camouflage. I probably made it around 1991, 1992, something like that. Problem is you have mood swings in the hobby. One day maybe interested in this, next something else. Yeah, as long as you don't buy the stuff, sure. I do that stuff all the time. Go down a rabbit hole, really interested in something, research it, lose interest, you know. But once I start something, man, I gotta deliver. I can't be, you know, no false starts, you know. All right. I know this guy ain't dry yet. It's going to be close. So we're going to do this one in the new olive drab, which is only slightly greener. And unfortunately, we're going to ruin this beautiful piece of recycled cardboard, which I think really highly of. I think it's a great material. Let's set these on their side so they don't fall over when we least expect it. least expect it. It's okay to be in a lot of stuff. Just don't buy stuff and don't do anything with it. We've all done that. It's really unsatisfying. Retailers love that, but that's just not smart, you know? Use what you buy and buy what you use. Something like that. Alright, now if I could just remember what color I used. Which brush I used. I want to say I used this one. Although it's pretty much an 8-up shape. So is that one. Now we're gonna have to use a real brush for this. Yeah, well, I want to buy more stuff, but I'm not going to let myself do it until we're closer. I'm not going to make any promises, but all right. So we're going to take our overall color here. I think this is dry enough. Going to have to be. Now move it on. And I hope I didn't make a mistake by not taking the turret off, but man, I'm telling you, I've had near-death experiences taking those rivets off, and I'm careful. It's freaking scary. All right, let's put this stuff down here. And then we're just going to dry brush right on here. And let's get rid of this because you're encroaching into my land. Anybody drink while they do the hobby? That would be a bad idea. I get sleepy, so that's a good way to not get a lot of stuff done. It's pretty green. If I don't like it, I can repaint it. Ain't scared. So this is kind of wet. We're just going to go over it. And this is exactly what I did with the other Shermans. So if you liked how they turned out, well, here's the recipe. And I'm probably pretty sure I used one of these brushes. These are real brushes. These are like Grumbacher's, or these are ones I inherited from somebody else. I don't think you can even buy these things anymore. Not any place we have in town. I painted them next to each other, and they look really similar. This seems like it's significantly greener than the other one, but that might just be an optical delusion. Joseph Nettles, welcome. Sliced your figure one time trimming a metal miniature. Had to get stitches, and that sucked. Still have the scar. Haven't had alcohol in about 4 years. Seeing what happens with you abuse alcohol, and I never got into drinking, which is a good thing. I do like some liquor, but I never drink again. That's okay. I don't care if I ever drink again, but I like it. I'm become a better person. I'm a lot more pleasant. Other people need me to not quit drinking. I can quit drinking, but did Mitch even get his feet wet? Mitch was barefoot at the show. Well, you know, the thing is, and I hate to brag about it, but there's lots of things I don't like about the place I live. One of the best things about it is that hurricanes don't come here. And if they do, because we're in the center of the state, they are so underpowered when they do arrive. And that's been the case ever since we've lived here, since in '81. We haven't really had any close calls. And if you keep the trees out from under you, which is difficult to do because this county is run by a bunch of Ewoks. They love having the trees all up their ass. You know, I'm not anti-trees. I just think that a 60-foot tree should be 60 feet from your house. You shouldn't live amongst it, just from the standpoint of leaves and debris and stuff that are falling on your roof that just rot your roof. But that's the biggest problem we have. You know, they turn into projectiles and stuff like that. But we're in the middle of the state. If a storm gets here, it's really unlikely for us to get more than sustained winds of more than 70 miles an hour. I just don't see it happening. It's never happened before. The problem is that people act like freaking Walking Dead at all times, anywhere there's a storm anywhere near. And that's the problem, is the people are the problem. You know, Mother Nature's going to be the bitch she always is all the time, but people are just, they go insane, you know, and they... So that's really the worst part. Now, what was unusual that happened this year, or didn't happen this year, that always happens is we got zero rain. We did not, sorry about the light, we literally got no rain whatsoever. Which is, I've never seen that happen. I've never, ever seen that happen. That is the strangest thing. And I know that it sucks all the moisture away, but it was kind of a combination between, it was far enough away that it didn't do anything to us, but it was close enough that all the moisture was sucked away to it. And I didn't mind having some rain, but I'm not going to complain. Most folks had way too much water, way too much. But that's actually never happened. That a storm came by, you know, in a threatening demeanor to a certain point, and we got zero rain. The other thing that never happened is that we lost power for that little amount of time, because we did lose power for about an hour. I mean, it's 55 minutes or something like that on Thursday morning, and came back on and stayed on. Just really, really strange. So now it really sucked for some people, including some places. We used to go to Fort Myers Beach. I think 5 years in a row we went there for 4th of July, and the place, if they would have had a war, it would have been in better shape. It is literally like some things have just ceased to exist. It's really catastrophic. So and they always show like the pier this and the pier's gone. Who gives a fuck about a pier? Nobody's livelihood depends on a pier. It belongs to the government. They just build another one. It may take 3 months or whatever, but it's not somebody's business with all their merchandise that went airborne, you know? So it's really sad for some folks. It's just going to be like it's going to be like a new town, I guess. But every time that happens, I try to learn something from it. And this lesson is I'm never going to retire to the beach. As much as I would love to live closer to the beach, Man, when you're landlocked, that's just one thing you don't have to worry about. Means a bad winter is coming. Oh, we need a bad winter. Actually, last winter was pretty cold, to be honest with you, which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. That's free air conditioning. Now, Mitch will end up being a sissy and run the heater in his thing out there, because I don't know how he survived in Illinois. I love the cold weather. I don't want to shovel anything, okay? But I love the cold weather. I'm like happy, especially if it's wet and cold. Because out west, it's cold and dry, and this boy can't deal with dry. It kills my skin. It kills my skin condition. And I'm not used to that. Okay, did we do overall on this? So this is the no pin wash. You don't need to do a pin wash with this. Now, I don't think I'm going to do more than one vehicle in this color, because in the off chance that I hate how it ends up looking, which is unlikely, but still, I like leaving myself an out. In the case that I hate how it looks, I don't have to repaint it. And I mean, there's all kinds of cool tools and stuff on there. Whoever made the original casting for this did a really good job. They need to have an award named after them. I heard that about a year ago for the first time, and I'm like, I like that. All right, Shermie here. All right. Now, let me put my glasses on so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Let's compare. Now, this doesn't have a brown wash on it, which it gets one. I don't think it's going to be that different looking. I don't think it's going to be that different looking. Matter of fact, I'm gonna paint one of the M4A1s 76 in this color, and I'll paint the other one in the other. F it, I gotta wait for that to dry to give him a brown wash. Doing it live, folks. Now this is a much smoother hull than the other ones. So when I painted that Firefly I have, I did not use this method. And the guy that I got the idea to use this color with the Agrax off YouTube, he doesn't use this method either. But I'm like, why even bother doing he actually didn't use a pin wash. And I'm like, well, why not? If I do it this way, I get like a free pin wash out of the deal. And I was really apprehensive the first one I did, but I want to be happy with the results. I wanted to be happy with the results. Contemplating grabbing my prime honey tanks and giving them a painting line. Gotta love them honeys. I passed up getting in the what do you call it? The oh man, the what's it called when somebody passes away? Estate sale, because that's what it was. It was 2 estate sales at this last show. The estate sale, I did not pick up the M3A1s. They weren't in very good shape, and if they'd been M5A1s, I would have picked them up. Only because they go with this period better. And as much as Tunisia would be cool to do, I can't be into everything. Problem is, you got to do a theater where there's sufficient cover. And we're going to do a little treat here in a moment that maybe you guys will find useful. Hopefully you find useful. I'd like to think that maybe I'll come up with something here that somebody will go like, oh man, I couldn't get past this, and some painting analysis paralysis, and maybe I can solve you, because that's our own worst enemy. I don't know what to do, so you don't do anything, and you buy another kit, and you buy another kit, you don't finish anything. I've been there. Okay. Now we'll grab one turret as soon as I figure out how the hell I'm going to hold it. Oh! Can I use my new friend? I can. Hallelujah. Got the GHQ tags, a lot for sale. It turned out having missing parts. I got credit half of what I paid, so I got a bunch of stuff for $25. Have some other tags that came with that, but are missing turrets. I can replace them, but not sure if I will right now. Oh, you're talking about GHQ. I had GHQ Crusaders. I had Honeys, Matildas. Had some 813s. Those 813s when they first came out. And A9s and A10s. When they first came out, I had them. So it would have been 91 or something like that. Had some 25-pounder guns. Some trucks. I've always found the British trucks very cute looking. That's a good thing. Attractive looking. I don't believe that cute's a bad word. Oh, he thinks I'm cute. Yeah, that's a good thing. Jump for joy. Yeah, a lot had tanks suitable for North Africa. Why I bought the lot had a lot of missing, so it turned out to be an okay buy, but full parts definitely more than I would have paid. Yep. You had a lot of bad experience on eBay? I have not. I've had really only one bad experience. And it's just some guy being a penis wrinkle. I had bought a model tank. I don't even remember which one it was. One of these 72nd scale. It was a German tank. And it didn't come with any decals. And supposedly an unopened model. And I contacted the guy multiple times. Couldn't get through to him. And I just gave him bad feedback. Hey, listen, missing the decals or whatever. And then as soon as that happened, he's like, you should have tried to contact me. I remember his words, eat the negative feedback. It's like from then on, I'm like, okay, well, I'm the buyer. I'm not giving you feedback until I get feedback because I paid immediately. I'm a big fan of paying immediately because the quicker I pay for it, the sooner it's on the way, right? And I remember that. Eat the negative feedback. Fucking asshole. I tried contacting you 6 fucking times. I don't want my money back. I just want the decals. Oh well. Well, I don't have that negative feedback anymore because they redid the way eBay does the feedback. It's weird now. I don't even know how it is now, but it's different. And they only keep it for a certain amount of time, and that was every bit of 20 years ago, probably. One bad purchase experience, I was a lot of GHQ and a couple times where I bought an item that apparently the store didn't have in stock, and they refunded me. And then I got a neutral feedback on something I sold. I sold a wooden sailing ship thing, and it came in like all these little bins, almost like a Plano box, but hard plastic clear with, one had like barrels in it, another one had cannons in it, or something like that. It was an all wooden kit. I thought, I'm going to build one of these things. I look at the instructions, and I'm like, I need a jig for, oh no, we're not going there. It was one of those things that I bought for like $200 and sold it for $100. Hey, shit happens. And this guy was like, the box fell apart in transport, the little cleaner, and it took me like 2 hours to clean it up. I'm like, I'm sorry, the thing was sealed with a freaking piece of tape. What am I supposed to do, Sometimes people go into like Nazi mode about how things are packaged, and it's not even damaged. They're just like, oh, you didn't package this like it was the Mona freaking Lisa, Some people just love to complain. So I will not be selling anything on eBay ever again because I do not want to go to the post office to mail it. I'll give it to somebody or throw it away. Okay, so here is the turret that goes with it. And now the treat. Ready for your treat? Ready for your treat, boys and girls? We're going to turn around and paint the other one. Same method with the olive drab, so you can compare apples to apples. I guess technically it's apples to oranges, but them both at the same time. Where is she? Here. Shame on you for the package getting destroyed in transit. You should have dropped it off at their front porch. No, the package actually was okay. Just imagine almost like it had like different, almost like you know when you get like something from a restaurant and it has like different, like you got space for your mashed potatoes and your vegetable or whatever. It had a space over that was like a clear thing that sat over there that barrels and stuff were in it, and it, you know, it came undone. They didn't lose any in the package, but it's like, you know, whatever. Thinking about selling some of my 28 millimeters, some Magic the Gathering cards on eBay. I didn't know you dabbled in Magic. When Magic the Gathering first came out, I worked at a hobby store, and we hated that fucking game because people were just like, it was like a freaking drug. And as a modeler, I hated it because you buy shit. You just buy shit. What do? You just throw money at the problem. And I'm like, and the game's no fun to play. I mean, if you want to play that kind of a game, fine, but just go and play Hearthstone, okay? It's free. It looks good. Play that. I played it a little bit. I don't know, probably 12 years ago, whatever the hell it came out. Just play that. Hungry Man packaging. There you go. Got that little, get the little chocolate one. You have to peel the thing back. Hungry Man. That's right. I still call microwave meals. I still call them TV dinners. And I said that we had one of our friends, young that was with us, and I think my wife was out of town, and he was just hanging out with us. Let's see, my daughter was probably like 15 at the time, 16, and he's like 2 years younger than her. She came over, we played Xbox, and we played Call of Duty with split screen, killing Nazis. Good fun, you know? If I had a boy, that's what we'd be doing. We'd be killing Nazis together. So we go to I don't cook. And, you know, I have no problem admitting that. So we go to this grocery store, and it's like, hey, what do you want to eat? It says, go get some TV dinners. And he didn't know what the hell I was talking about, because his dad does all the cooking. But I'm not a cook, and I ain't starting, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm a painter. Yeah, they don't look that much different from each other here next to each other, but he didn't know what TV dinners were. Played Magic the Gathering for a number of years, but the game is not fun these days. The prices are also absurd. I would rather play 40K with unpainted miniatures. There's at least something physical to it. Which players smell worse? You're a cook and a painter. Well, good for you. I'm not. I have no interest in cooking. I'm a bartender, you know, that never gets to practice because everybody we know either drinks too much or they don't drink at all. Everybody I know, that's like, they either don't drink at all, which, you know, if you've got health issues, I get it. You know, drinking is not a big part of my life. I just don't like the government or anybody else telling me you can't have a drink. I'm like, oh, hell no. Now I want to have 3. But it is not a big part of my life. It's a big part of my culture, but it isn't. I don't think I would ever be addicted to it. It's just not in, it doesn't run in my family and any of that stuff. But everybody I know, like, drinks way too much, or they don't drink at all. And how about somewhere in the middle, folks? I drive people to extremes. They either don't want to miss a word I say, or they got a drink to put up with me. I just don't like somebody saying that I can't have a drink. Why? Who the hell are you? No, who the hell do you think you are? It's not who you are. Who the hell do you think you are? So most of my collection the last 2 years, I'd say Magic the Gathering players smell worse. Ugh. So here's the thing about Magic the Gathering that is really the biggest problem I have with it. What's the best thing about DBA? And I've said it before. That you have meaningful decisions to make from turn to turn. There's no meaningful decisions to make in Magic the Gathering. You like pre-stack a deck and hope to God, probability-wise, that things come out when you need them. But when the card comes out, there's only so much you can do with it. I mean, yeah, there's some minor decisions. It's just nothing worth deciding, in my opinion. I wonder which one of these I like better. Hopefully I say both. But it's going to get a brown wash on it, remember. Actually, that isn't true. Well, when I played it, it seemed like that was the case, so maybe I played it wrong. What's that thing that they call like roll the tanks? Play to win. Play to win games. I'm just throwing money at the problem just benefits the... Is it Wizards of the Coast too? Is Magic the Gathering owned by Wizards of the Coast? Seems like it is. Maybe it isn't. You know a guy who's a judge in that, but not because of that, it just happens to be. Make decisions all the time, Magic Gathering, being able to do that. It's a good players for bad ones. Wrong decision often leads to Coast owns Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Superheroes. Dungeons and Superheroes. I played Dungeons and Dragons, but I was 14. I don't have a problem with a role-playing game. You play with the right people, it'll be okay. The problem is you probably have a really hard time finding a good GM. Because you got to have the balance between somebody who plays fair, you know? You just, what are the rules? Yeah, okay, well, that's, you just got to follow them. And if your party dies, your party dies. And if they don't, well, then they don't, you know? Just seemed like Magic would be really simple. Like, I only play the white deck. I only play blue or whatever. Which there's people like that do stuff anyways. I only play, you know, super troops. And you got to play the crappy stuff to appreciate the good stuff. That's why I never understand like paying for like premium tanks that are like, you know, roll the tanks. If you never play the shitty tanks, you don't appreciate how good the good ones are. Actually, I tried playing World of Tanks this last week, and I hated it. And I played it quite a bit in the past. I actually prefer War Thunder. Because the cool thing about War Thunder is when you get a hit on another vehicle, it shows you a little zoom in where your shell goes and how it fragments and your guys get cut in half. I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty informative. I mean, if you're going to play one of those kind of games, I prefer the War Thunder. Almost done with this guy. GM for my travel and D&D games. I'm pretty fair. I would never lie. Just ask me. I've never killed anybody intentionally yet. Okay, now we gotta do Le Tourette. What time is it? Now you can see what the difference is here. They don't look that different. I never lie, even when I'm lying. There you go. Is the turret French now? C'est bon? What? Is the turret French? No, it's not a one-man turret. Got a one-man turret. What a disaster. What a freaking disaster. The one on the right looks brighter. Yep. And greener. I think it'll work just fine. And we still have to give them a brown wash, so there's that. I figure I might as well mix colors now instead of having a bunch of them in the one color and then have certain kind of vehicles that are all a different one. So the cool thing about this game is, remember the figures are this big, right? And this is a penny that it's on. The scale of the game is 1 inch equals 2 meters. So it's actual scale. So, you know, you got grenades you throw away, they're, you know, they go like 18 inches or something like that. So they're not condensed. You know, grenade explosion is like this big. Yeah, so what we're going to do is I think we're going to work on both of these at the same time. So you can see how the colors play on each other. Because the stage is we do this overall. Oh, I forgot. I can use my friend now. You do this color overall. Then we're going to give it that Agrax Earthshade Wash. Then we'll dry brush this color again. And then we will mix 50% of this core color with dark sand and dry brush that. And then we'll pick out some details that maybe didn't get as much highlighting as I would have liked. And then we're done. And that last stage, the picking out the details, the guy who showed this method that he uses online did not do that. It's my own spin on it. We're going to finish this, and then we'll go to the little boy's room, and then we'll be back to start. We'll leave the truck. We'll leave the truck for in the morning. How about that? There's something to look forward to. That one's gonna have an emblem on the hood. We're gonna have a star on that. Probably a circle star. Army Painter Strong Tone works much better than the Games Workshop washes. Well, don't have any of that here. And I just followed the guy's recommendations. So, seems to work okay. I want to say this local Games Workshop Gamers store used to have Army Painter stuff, and now they didn't. Last time I went over there, I actually showed up to get some Army Painter stuff, and they didn't have any. I remember way back in the day, if you were a store and you wanted to order Games Workshop, they forced you to order a minimum, some huge amount of stuff. You couldn't just order a few things, so maybe that's one of the things, like, man, we want to carry Games Workshop, but if we do that, we can't afford to carry anything else because we got to order so much Games Workshop stuff that we got to make sure that when we order that, we order enough. So getting diluted in too many product lines might have been a problem for them. I'm really not sure, but the situation is that they don't carry any Army Painter, and I don't love their paints. I actually like the Games Workshop paints better. I don't mind the Games Workshop paints at all. I don't like the funky names that they're called. You know, like Hula Baloo Purple or whatever the hell it's called. You know, just Fluffy Purple or whatever the hell it is. Alright, we're going to rinse this. How long do I plan on painting tonight? As long as my shoulders hold up. I'm feeling some tension in my shoulders. That's really the only thing. Go to little boy's room. I'll be right back. So to answer your question about how long I'm going to paint, realistically, I probably need to stop after I do this wash because it's going to have to dry, and it's a relatively long period of time. So that's, I mean, not relatively long period of time, but like a half hour or something like that. So that's probably what I'm going to do. You don't like Iron Painter paints? Viejo Reaper Masterclass. Okay. Well, I may not be around in 20 minutes. I don't know. We'll see. May rush really fast so you won't get to see me. You know, if I played Games Workshop and I didn't like it, I've never played Games Workshop. I'd probably end up naming that game Age of Skidmark. That'd be a fun name to call it. What do you play? Age of Skidmark. All right. Here's the two turrets. They're really not that different from each other. It might be more noticeable on the... All right. Let's get... We're going to do the olive drab. I just did that one recently. Let's not do that. Let's go to the one we painted that's set the longest. And go with that. Age of Skidmark. Think anybody would play that? This is actually too big. Let's go with this one. All right, let's lose the vision impairment reducers. Okay, so I do not know what this looks like with this color. Because this is the new color. This is the new, lovely. This is the new olive drab. Yeah, see, it definitely made it more brown looking. Yeah, be careful, that's kind of in the... Too close for comfort zone. We don't want to knock that shit out. You can tell that... You know, this is sliding everywhere. Let's put this on something that's not sliding. It's so much easier to deal with this than, say, something that you need to take spirits to and wipe off. shoulders are killing me at this point. But we're going to get done with all this. So this will give us something to mess with. A morning painting session. Alright, so this is what the new color looks like. And I bet they're going to end up looking really similar. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. This is the new color. Yeah, nobody here in town has that army painter stuff, so. I actually don't like the consistency of their paints. That does not mean I won't buy any more of their paints. I just don't like the consistency. It's difficult to. It's not as user friendly as the Viejo. You know, when I think of Shermans, I don't think of them with 76 millimeter guns. Even though they had them. Oh, I Totally missed painting this. Okay, well, I'm not worried about it. We'll get it when we dry brush over it. Okay. Now we get the other hole that has the original, the brown violet on it. Oh yeah, my shoulders are hurting. I can't wait to try this on the German dark yellow tank. See how this works out. So far I like this enough to probably do it on every vehicle. If so, we'll have to buy a few more bottles of this stuff before they decide to discontinue it or... All right, there's that. And if you got these streak marks on here, it's not a big deal because this is all going to get dry brushed over. Or most of it's going to get dry brushed over. All right, where's my helper here? There we go. So when this guy was doing this, I'm like, man, this guy is not doing any pin washing in black or anything. So I'm like, if I just like dry brush this color and leave black in places, it's going to be a lot easier to paint, and I'm getting a free quote unquote pin wash out of it. Makes sense to me. Without having to apply it directly. Okay. Well, that's all she wrote, so I need to go rest. My upper back my shoulder area is really hurting. So that's I'm gonna let these guys dry overnight. We'll come back in the morning, Sunday morning painting session, knock these guys out. And see exactly what the difference is gonna be between these. They're similar enough that it's gonna be a nice little variety there, I think. So looking forward to that. But anyways, thanks for stopping by. Man, it's been over 3 hours. Wow. Okay, we'll see you guys next time in the morning, and happy painting, and enjoy the rest.